Would you like to earn yourself some extra money this Christmas? Maybe you want to buy a gift for your friend, for your family. Maybe you want to donate some money to charity. Well, why don't you check out Profit Accumulator? So to find out more and to sign up, check the link in the description and get involved right now with Profit Accumulator. Hi and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast, brought to you today by Profit Accumulator. The link is in the description. If you want to get involved in Profit Accumulator, can earn yourself a bit of extra cash for the Christmas. Why? You done it again. Yeah? Why you keep wearing the same clothes as me, man? You want to be me, innit?
I told you.
You want to be me.
It's bring your dad to work day. And you've obviously come along with me, your son, and it's like...
You're the wrong colour. You're not my son.
Hey, listen, I'm adopted. I'm
not adopted no one. I've got my own kids.
Adopted son.
No, I've got my own kids. I don't need no more, right? You fell right into that one. By the way, the Profit Accumulator matchup for today is this, yeah? If Mikel Arteta was got sacked, there's two managers that a lot of people have discussed and said, get either him or get him. I want to find out from you guys who you prefer. Pochettino, ex-Tottenham manager, of course, got into the final of the Champions League. Didn't win nothing, but universally, a lot of people say he's a good manager. Or Allegri, former Juventus manager. That's what the matchup is today. I want you to jump in the comments and tell us who you would prefer out of those two. Who would you prefer if it came down to it? And
it would have to be.
You know, your grandmaster was sacked.
It would have to be Allegri. It would.
Allegri.
Yeah, his credentials, you know, his achievements and the stature of the man, and you know what he's done. I know he's the only concern with him, I suppose, with Pochettino as well, is how long they've been out of the game now. Allegri's been out a lot longer.
He's been out a long time, Allegri.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how long he's been out.
Yeah, and that he hasn't gone anywhere. So is he saving himself for, you know, certain jobs or whatever it might be? So that might be one thing that you've got to look at in terms of how he's evolved as a manager and kept himself within the game over the period of time he's been away. And in comparison to Pochettino, despite him doing a relatively good job at Spurs, he won nothing. So... You know, at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta's won more than Pochettino. Facts.
Okay.
So Allegri for me.
Okay. Putting it out there to you guys. Listen, I always wanted Allegri even before Arteta came in. Allegri was my first choice. We didn't get him. So if Arteta did go, for me, it would have to be Allegri. Although I wouldn't be against Pochettino either. That would really piss off Spurs fans. That'd be for sure. But I got one thing I want to ask today, and I want you to imagine, that, and I know you know all about this, we're in court.
You're such a dickhead. Serious to God.
We're in court, and we're hearing a case, right? This case that we're hearing in this court of law. Is the case against...
Is it a criminal court or a civil court?
This is a criminal court.
Okay.
Right? So I know you last week you came with your civil thing.
I'm just making sure.
This is a criminal court where we will base it off of evidence. The case for and against Mikel Arteta.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. Just before we do get into that case number 0010, right? Let's first of all talk about, it's been a week since we've done one of these. Well, actually, no, we did a special one, didn't we? We did a special live one last week after the Burnley game, and, you spoke a lot about how, still got to keep the faith in Arteta, still, where a lot of people are saying, nah, that's it, gone, he's got to go, you know. That was a horrible defeat. We had a game against Southampton, 1-1. What were your thoughts on that game?
The sending off changed the entirety of the game and the way that it, panned out. And I think we would have gone on and won that game. I'll be honest with you. We were on the front foot, got the equaliser, And again, the sending off has let us down.
3 sending offs in 4 games.
Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? When you got a manager who's under pressure, you know, the last thing you need is sending offs. The last thing, you know, because the stats tell you don't win a game with 10 men, right? So
what's so annoying about it is that each of them have come at a period of the game which have left us in a real tough situation.
And they've all come with loads of time left as well, haven't
That's what I mean. It's not like we've been winning and one of them's in the final minute. You know, Leeds was at the start of the second half. Burnley was 15 minutes within the second half, right after a great period. The one against Southampton was 20 odd minutes after the second half had started, after a great period, getting back in the game, scoring a goal. And you're just sitting there like, oh no, man, what is going on? And the last 2 have been in key areas, you know, centre midfield, centre back.
And Gabriel, of course, will miss the Everton
and he's
game.
been our best player this season. The only thing that gives Gabriel the leeway in comparison to the other 2 is that those are the kind of sendings off that you see throughout the course of the season on a regular basis. They happen, they're part of football. They're not petulant, stupid, or avoidable. What Xhaka did and what Pepe didn't need to do. Keep your hands down, don't stick your head into somebody. Could have completely avoided those. What Gabriel did, in hindsight, let Theo go. Once he spun, you let him go. Because when you look at it, we had 2 players coming across, he was quite a distance out, so I think we would have had it covered.
He panicked, didn't he?
And he did, he panicked, and he was having a poor game by his standards.
I mean, did you see what Theo said after the game? He goes,
that we look nervous.
He sensed fear.
Yeah, no, fear.
He didn't say nervous, he goes, he sensed fear.
We said that.
Yeah,
watching it, we said we can feel that the players, there's a nervousness, a fear about everything, because
which was surprising in Gabriel, because, and that's the lack of confidence thing, isn't it? Because all season he's been fearless, but in that game you could see like their nerve is so. They're like, I don't want to concede. We can't concede. You know what I mean?
And the longer the game goes on, the more you start to panic and everything. And I think that, you know, everything's having an effect on the players from the outside. And, you know, people can sit there all they want and talk about, you know, they earn this money and, you know, they play at Arsenal and this and that. The form we're going through is real tough, and they are going to feel that. You know, as fans, we feel it. We're nervous. We're not going into games with a sense of confidence. Or
I ain't even
so as a player, it's tough because you're thinking to yourself, if I make a mistake here, I already know I'm going to get crucified on social media. I already know that everyone's going to go in on me and I'm this and I'm that and the other and all these things. And it's so tough. And that really frustrated me with the Southampton game because, like, look, we can't tell what the result would have been. But if you go on the way that the second half started, I think we would have won the game.
Yeah, we nearly nicked it at the end.
And we nearly nicked it at the end. So, you know, the one thing is that we live in a world now where everything's sensationalized and everything's based off titles. And I'm not putting this onto you or anything like that. This is with the media as well. The media are very quick to take a story or an interview and put a title that, you know, and what the majority of people in the world do now is they don't read an article or watch a video. They read a title and then they go and comment on that moment or whatever the comment may be based on that title. And they say it with their chest as though it's genuine. And I look at my interview after the game that I did and I said about us, the way we fought after the sending off, it was clear that they were playing for the manager. They didn't down tools. And I'll go into that. And we put that up as a title. And you only have to go in the comments to see so many people have based their judgment of the title, not the video, and not actually watched and listened to how I broke it down and why I felt what I did.
But I think the one thing that was undeniable yesterday, and I saw an interview with Yardman where he said the opposite, right, on our channel. But I felt yesterday that to a man out there, every one of those players were fighting for the manager. You could see that. I didn't see a down tools.
No, because we would have lost the game.
There's been a few games that we've played, and I'm like, are these guys really
Do they really care?
Do they really
Or
care?
they're
Are they
bothered?
really? But that one yesterday.
Yeah. I've seen
You
so
know,
many
I'm looking at it
conspiracy
and I'm
theories.
like, yeah, these guys, they're fighting for this.
They
guy.
dug in. They
Because,
dug in and they...
You know, that's 2 games now, actually, when they've been down to 10 men and they've actually dug out a draw out of the game, which, you know, and then if you then remember that back, even way back to the start of last year, to the start of this year, when we went down to 10 men against Chelsea, again, got to secure the draw. So there is fight there. You can't always just, because a team loses or because a team hasn't won, say, oh, they're not fighting. There's no fight. No, there was fight. Maybe there's still a lack of cohesion. There's a lack of skill in parts. You know, there's a lack of, really having a go because they're not playing free-flowing football.
There's a lot of players that I do still feel, I wouldn't say not playing for the manager, I would say they're not really here anymore. But they're not the ones that are involved, not the ones that were on the pitch. There's players where I look at and I think, yeah, you're somebody that I don't feel will play for the manager, or I don't feel that your heart's in this club.
But the ones that are on the pitch,
the
ones that are on the pitch against Southampton were fighting for the manager. Funny enough, I wanted to refer also that you made a point in your interview after that Southampton game where you was very angry about, well, you said even before it happened that you felt that Gabriel would come out and apologise to the fans because he would have known that in a way he let the team down by getting sent off, right? Yeah. Even though it was 2 yellows, it's not a straight, stupid red, but he would come out. And you were right, he did come out. And you drew the comparison with Granit Xhaka, who still hasn't.
Pepe's apologised.
Pepe apologised.
Within 24 hours, and people said that was too long.
Yeah, I felt it was too long because I felt that he really let everybody down on that day, and I felt that, that quite immediately he should have just come out and said, yo, guys, I'm sorry. But to be fair, he came out and said, I'm sorry, right? Granit Xhaka, yet again, has not apologised. He didn't apologise that time when he went crazy at the game and stormed off and took off the shirt and stuff like that, where a lot of people thought he'd never ever come back from. Mikel Arteta, instrumental in bringing him back. He's now gone and done something really stupid again, and he still hasn't apologised. Maybe he's thinking to himself, I've got nothing to apologise about because I shouldn't have been sent off. But you were sent off.
That's the problem, because
you
were should have been sent off.
You were sent off. Whether you feel you should have been sent off or not, you let the team down. The team lost to Burnley, a game that, Mikel Arteta would have identified that as a win, as a 3-point game. You have let the manager down and the players down and the fans down.
It wasn't an error. It wasn't something that you look back on and go, oh my God, the referee's got that wrong. That's like, how's he been sent off? We've been, it's the referee's fault. We've been stitched up. Or no, I called it before it even went to VAR. I saw it immediately. You raised your hands in an aggressive manner and you literally grabbed his throat. It wasn't a push, you grabbed his throat. And he knew instantly, because when the referee come over, went like that with a yellow card and pulled out the red, he kind of went as if to go and argue and say, but what about what he did? And yeah, I'll carry on, I'll walk off. And I'm not listening to all these excuses about you'll get abuse on social media. He could have come out and, put a block on his comments and just apologised, and there's not a need for anything.
I'm with you. I'm not buying this. Listen, first of all, let me just say, there is no space for going personally abusing
his
player
family and his child and stuff like that.
I don't even think you should go on a footballer's account after something like that and have a go at them, right? Even if you're going to have a go on your own account, but don't go on their thing where you're trying to abuse them on their account, right? There's no space for that. There's no space for that sort of abuse. However, I do think as a footballer, right, you can expect that after a game, if you've had a bad game, if you've had a terrible performance, if you've been sent off, abuse is coming your way. Yeah. Unfortunately, it goes with the territory. We get it on AFTV all the time. I get it, right? And as long as it's not racial abuse for me, and as long as it's not personal abuse, But my measure is that I don't look at it, or like you said, I block off the comments. And a lot of these guys have got guys who manage their accounts anyway. So I'm not buying that as an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
You don't have to look at the comments. Just you send the message out.
And the thing is, he's made it 10 times.
Sorry, guys.
He's made it 10 times worse because if he
You're already under pressure.
If he would have come out immediately and said, I made a massive mistake, it's my fault, I let the team down, I'm sorry. A lot of people would have gone, you know what, fair play. Fair play, actually, you know what, yeah, let's go a bit easier on him. He's made a mistake and he's held his hands up. But the moment he next posts something, no matter when it is, what it is, straight away people are going to be on his case. Why didn't you apologise? Why is it taking a 22-year-old that's just come to the club to apologise? Why is it how old's Pepe? You know, he's a young boy as well.
Yeah, and he's ex-captain. You know what I mean?
But this is the thing.
Look, come on,
I've seen a lot of things this week and what some people are saying, and they're referencing that Xhaka is part of a period or a regime that we don't want in this club no more. He is part. Pepe's a new player. Gabriel's a new player. People that look like they want something with this club and can actually appreciate the fans and know when they're right and wrong. But yet Xhaka's part of that where it's just unaccountable for their actions and get away with it. You know, because like you said, that message he sent that time when he did what he did wasn't a real apology.
It wasn't an apology.
But nobody.
He was giving reasons for doing what he did.
Yeah,
right?
nobody took him to task.
Yeah, sometimes, and I said this right at that time, sometimes you just have to say sorry, right? You just say sorry. You know, I've had occasions. I had occasion recently with an incident that happened. You know, the incident on the channel, right? Where, you know what, I could have come out and I could have had loads of mitigating circumstances to why that wasn't dealt with quicker, certain things, blah, blah. I could have, you know, genuine. But I looked at the situation and immediately I was like, well, actually, even with that mitigation, the right thing to do is to say sorry, because it was still not, people don't want to hear about those mitigations. They just didn't see that it was dealt with quicker enough.
Yeah.
Right? So the right thing to say at that time is sorry. If somebody wants to come and speak to you personally about it, then you can explain those. But sorry kills it. Sorry is sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes when you say I'm sorry, there's nothing else for a person to say. All right, they've said they're sorry, but you know, hopefully they'll learn from this. But he obviously ain't learned from it. One other thing from that Southampton game, should we have had a penalty? Yeah.
If you're going by every other penalty that you've seen in the Premier League this season and the letters of the law and all the rest of it, then of course we would.
I don't know what a penalty is no more.
Well, this is the thing. It's the fact is that they never even went to VAR. So penalties are those kind of things where you can go, it is a clear and obvious error by the referee because things are happening so fast you can miss it. Now, what I will say to this, if the referee doesn't believe that he's been caught, because remember Ceballos was holding his leg on the floor, claiming he was fouled, go give him a yellow card then.
Yeah.
If it's not a penalty and you believe that he's tried pulling a fast one,
exactly what Ty said.
Go and give him a yellow card. If it's not a yellow card and you believe he's been touched, but not, well, hold on, he's been touched. So it's a penalty.
Contact. I've been seeing. Listen, it would have been soft penalty.
I've seen Mo Salah.
But I've seen this all Salah, Bruno Fernandes, all season. I've seen
Bruno Fernandes get a penalty for fouling them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think it was Aston Villa last season when he went to turn on the edge of the box and he actually stood on the Villa's player's foot and then roller penalty. But it's the fact that it doesn't go to VAR. It doesn't get a review or anything. And it's becoming a bit of a joke now where we're actually sitting there saying, is it actually going to get reviewed? It never gets reviewed. Nothing at all.
And one of the other positives from the game was apart from Saka, who was brilliant in the game, but also Aubameyang finally getting a goal from open play. Great finish as well. Yeah,
superb finish. And we said it at half time that if you want a chance to fall to one player in the team, it has to be him.
It's why he has to be on the pitch, isn't it? And it's why he has to be central.
It's one of those moments.
We've seen Lacazette have chances like that. And he's hit him straight at the keeper.
4 minutes to go against Leeds. If it was Aubameyang running through one-on-one with a keeper and not Saka, we'd have won the game. if it was Aubameyang going through for the chance at 2-1 down at Anfield and not Lacazette, it would have been 2-2. I know there's if, buts and maybes, but we seem to have had the right chances fall to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Whereas yesterday, it actually fell to the person you
He's the
wanted.
clinical guy. He's the guy that will, Getting back to the case, though, because the case is still there.
Yep.
Right? The case against and for Arteta. Right? Because he's still only 15th place. It was still only a point. I think I saw something like it's 2 points out of the last 18, possible 18 or something like that. Some stat like it's horrendous.
Yep.
Our worst ever start.
We are going through a really, really tough
No, we're
period.
going through a horrendous.
Yeah, tough, horrendous period.
Now, I saw, you got a draw. Fantastic. Yeah? Players seem to be playing for him. Fantastic. Better. I also saw a similar performance on Tuesday night with West Brom, where they went and against all odds got a 1-1 draw away at Man City. I mean, we would have been applauding that if we'd have done that. The next day they sacked their manager. Right?
West Brom have got a
hold on.
making the wrong decision.
No,
you only have to
wait
look at
a minute. Let me finish.
Wait
Let me finish. They sacked their manager.
No. Yeah, I know.
Right? They're like, yeah, you got a draw, but nah. Why should we keep hold of Arteta?
Because we're building something for the future. And the most important thing there is our board believe he's going to build something.
Have you seen
the West Brom board don't believe that Bilic is the one to build their future. You've got to remember, Darren Moore took them to 3rd or 4th place in the Championship, I think it was, and he got sacked. So you only have to listen to what West Brom fans are saying, and they're fuming about it. So the difference is that the board of West Brom clearly don't believe that he can get them out of the situation
they want to stay up,
because it's not about the 1-1 at Manchester City. It's about everything as a whole. They're looking at it and going,
yeah, but that's the same with us.
Yeah, but it's not the same, because their board do not believe he can get them out of it and take them to where they want to be. Our board clearly believe that Mikel Arteta is the man and he can take us out of it.
The fans?
I would say, yeah, there's fans that obviously do still back
You
him.
think the majority of fans back him?
Yeah, I do still believe
Let's
that.
Let's get into the case for and against then. I've got some, I'll represent the against because I know you're for him, right? So I'm going to represent the
So
against.
if this is like a real court and everything else, I've done my police interrogation and everything. So as you'll obviously...
You know a lot about it, innit?
Well, as you'll obviously know, during my...
I didn't even know that part.
During my interrogation, shall we say, I used my rights and no comment. So anything you do say may be used against you in a court of law.
This court you do have to say, right?
Yeah.
Now,
what are you, Judge Rinder?
Let's
Robbie.
start, right? The case against. With that, the case against is his horrific record in the Premier League. Worst ever start in the Premier League. Worst start, I think, since the 70s, they said. Right? You know, it's good in the cups. Seems to be a good cup manager. In the league. And even last season, worst ever finish in the Premier League. We finished 8th.
You can't.
No, what do you mean you can't?
You can't.
Listen, we're basing this on evidence.
Yeah, all right.
Worst ever finish in the Premier League. Remember, we used to be moaning about top 4. We finished 8th.
What you're presenting.
And worst
what you're presenting,
ever start this season.
What you're presenting is not compelling evidence. There's not beyond reasonable doubt on this. No, it isn't, because...
Not compelling?
No. Because,
have you seen where we are in the league?
Because what I'm trying to say to you, with last season, you cannot be pinning all that on Mikel Arteta when he came in halfway through. If you want to talk about evidence and you want to talk about a comparison, shall we say, then you only have to look at Liverpool in their first part of a season when Jurgen Klopp had taken over. Not first full season, first season where he just took over. Now remember, he took over Liverpool at a lot longer period than Mikel Arteta did. It was just into the start of the season when Liverpool decided to get rid of Brendan Rodgers, and then Jurgen Klopp took over. So we had a longer period. Mikel came in December. We all know about the problems. Where did both teams finish at the end of those seasons? 8th.
Where are we now? Nearly double worse.
What happened
15th.
with Jurgen Klopp in the first period of his season? They were also in 15th place.
What, for this amount of time though?
Around the same
Maybe
period.
they dropped into 15th once.
Around this same period.
We've been in 15th now for about the past 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I understand that, but let's just be patient. All right, so I'm giving you, you're giving me...
Patient to what?
You're giving me your
16th,
evidence.
17th?
Look, listen, one person in the court speaking, please. Right, when you're giving your evidence, all right, I'm giving you comparisons and reasons behind certain things. I'm not accepting the way things are going at the moment. I'm not happy with being in 15th place. But do I believe that the manager can turn it around if he's given the right tools as well to do it and not somebody else's tools? It's like you've been a DJ. Yeah, I'm a DJ. You understand that if you go to a club, right, and you're playing, let's talk vinyl, yeah, from old school, yeah. You have your record box. You know where all your tunes are in that box. You don't need no lights, no torch, no nothing. You're in a club. You know this tune, that tune. You're picking it out of your box or anything else, yeah? You're ready. You can tear the club up, do your thing. You give someone else's record box to that person and you say, right, go and play. You don't know what's there, what songs are there, what the tools are, nothing. Your set will not be on a par to what it would be if you was using your own tools. So a similar kind of comparison.
But then the person who comes has got to know how to use that record box. So he's got to study it. He's got to, look into it himself and find, and he's had a lot.
But at the same time,
he ain't just arrived.
But at that same time,
he hasn't just
you go
arrived.
through that record box, and there's not dub plates that you've got in yours.
Listen, he ain't just arrived. I think this weekend against Everton will be a year. I think. I think almost a year to the day.
You stop doing that, didn't you?
Almost a year to the day, and he's been in the job.
Yeah, and he's won a trophy. I'm not gonna.
What's he done? I'll take the trophy thing out of it for a minute, right? Mm-hmm. What's he done in the league?
The league's not been good enough. It hasn't been.
It's been appalling.
This season. Yes.
I've never known Arsenal like 15th in the league.
Listen, it's poor. It's not good. But just like the board, and I think that everybody needs to understand this as well, is that it's very, very, very evident that the board back him.
Well, are they delusional? I mean, I saw Edu come out the other day and say he's doing a wonderful job. I had to wonder, what's he on?
You know what?
What he's smoking over there, like Liverpool once said about us.
You know what? Sometimes, yeah, you can say things and some things are best left unsaid.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
I know what Edu was trying to do, and it's to try and show that he does have the full backing, but at the same time, he's not going to turn around and say it's not acceptable, because it's like when you
Had Tayev said that, you'd be you'd be cussing
What
him
I'm
off.
saying is that in the position he's in, you've got to be very careful what you say, because it can go either way. So he obviously thought that he was saying the right thing to keep everyone's spirits up and to move forward, and we're looking towards January and we're going to bring players in or whatever it might be.
You can't even in January. How many players can you bring in? Be real now.
Well, we brought in Aubameyang in January.
Yeah, but how many players can you bring in January?
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what players of ours we're going to be able to get on pre-contract somewhere else.
The Blosley guy they were after, he's gone to Leipzig.
But there's still a lot of players available. There's still players available.
What are we going to get another Cedric or players like that?
No, because you've got the
Cedric, so good. We put him on a 4-year contract and he can't even get in the first team when Bellerin's out.
Listen,
I mean,
but what I'm saying, Robbie, again, with that, we've had this discussion over transfers.
Arteta's guy.
Yeah.
Cedric.
Gabriel and Partey are Arteta's guy.
Yeah.
So it's swings and roundabouts. It's like when Arsene Wenger was manager. When Arsene Wenger was manager, he brought in a Thierry Henry. He also brought in an Igor Stepanovs or Andre Santos. You have bad ones, you have good ones. So obviously at the time we felt Cedric was the right person. When we see him in the Europa League, he looks good. But for whatever reason, he's not playing in the Premier League. Or so does Mikel Arteta think we haven't got what I thought we were going to get? You can't pin that on a man Because every manager
No,
in
but you
football...
brought him in.
No, but every manager in football, it's like you're just using anything
We're
to
not
beat
in
him with a
no,
stick.
hold on, we're not
because
in a,
that's the
wait a minute,
situation.
BT, we're not in a position to make mistakes right now, right? And come on, even when we signed Cedric, did you look on it and think, oh, boy?
Well, I looked at him.
Was you like, yo, great signing?
No, I
actually,
looked
did you
at it.
did you look on it with him and Willian and think to yourself,
I
were you underwhelmed?
I look on it and I think to myself, when Cedric was announced, I thought, if he can produce some of the performances I've seen him for Portugal, because he has played well for them. And
yes, I know. You said that afterwards, but your initial
my initial reaction
thoughts on it were like, what?
My initial reaction was
what?
Was well, no. Initial reaction was that he was on loan until the end of the season. So initially, I thought,
and then we signed him on a 4-year deal.
So initially, I thought to myself, you know what? I can understand it because Bellerin's just come back from an injury. He's got experience, plays in the Premier League.
Yeah, Maitland-Niles playing brilliant.
Everything. Listen, you say that, but he was playing brilliant on the left-hand side.
No, right-hand side. No. When Cedric came in,
Maitland-Niles wasn't as a right back when Cedric came in. It was Bellerin that was playing.
He was.
And then Maitland-Niles.
But he should have been playing ahead of Bellerin as well. He was playing so well.
But then,
remember when Bellerin came in, there was a lot of fans thinking, what?
But then the thing
is, been playing well there. Why has Bellerin come back in?
Again, we don't know what's gone on behind the scenes and as to why Maitland-Niles doesn't want, because
you know what the thing is,
doesn't want to be there, he doesn't want to be there. Or
we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but we can see what's in front of us and it don't look good, right? Number 2, in the case against Mikel Arteta, right? ARSSOU being left out of the squad, right? For footballing reasons. I'm not going to say ARSSOU is Arsenal's greatest player. I'm not going to say he's not a player that's on decline. Left out for footballing reasons when I see week in, week out, this team creating next to nothing. Answer.
They have clearly made it obvious that he's not doing the right things in training or he's not pulling his weight. He won't do as he's told. And it's not Mikel Arteta that said this. Freddie sees it.
Let me ask you this.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Let me just a quick interjection in that, right? So why is he still training with the first team all the time then?
Because he has to, because he's contracted to. Because the one thing that Mesut Ozil won't do first and foremost is not train, because they then can have him for breach of contract.
No, but he's still training with the first team. They could have sent him to go and train with the under-23s. They could have sent him. He's always, they'll actually be putting out videos and putting out pictures with him in training.
Yeah, because on the face of it, that's the way it has to be.
If somebody's such a problem, such a troublemaker and around the field, why is he training with them?
It's that he's not putting the work in that they require, and he's not the only manager that said this. You've got to remember, Mikel played with him. So they were actually
not
mates.
even in the squad.
Not even in the squad.
Not even on the bench. You don't think you footballing reasons?
From what we
not even being available.
I would love to know the full 100% truth. I've got little bits of
footballing reasons ain't the truth.
What would you say? Footballing reasons that he's not producing in training or doing enough to warrant, and then it becomes a standoff that the club have made it clear you've got to, perform like this, train like this, do these things, or you're not going to be a part of the squad, and he won't. Then that's where you become a standoff, and you're like, right, if we back down now, because you've got to remember, Unai Emery made this exact same stance.
Still playing. Didn't get. Wait. Right, he made a stance, but he didn't bomb him out of the squad.
No, and then what did he do? The pressure got to him, and he brought him back in. And I feel in this instance, Arsenal are refusing to allow that to happen again, because you immediately play into their hands. You immediately play into their hands. And
Mikel Arteta's refusing.
Yeah, because you basically play into their hands.
Is it working?
Huh?
Is it working?
They're going to stick to their decision.
Is it working?
Well, you look at what he was creating before.
More than what I see now?
But not enough.
More than
not enough to talk about. We want work rate. The one thing he's never done is work rate. I can't believe the same people that are turning around and saying, get Mesut Ozil out of the team.
What did I just say? He wasn't perfect.
And now saying that he should be in the squad.
Hold on. He wasn't. What did I just say? He wasn't perfect. There was games where he was a virtual passenger, especially away from home. However, it was better than what's happening now. And we weren't 15th. And all the evidence points towards that's a mistake.
No, not for me.
The only way for me, I look on that and say, weren't a mistake, is if we had somebody who's in there at the moment creating loads of chances, or I'll tell you how I wouldn't have had a problem with it. If they would have done that and they brought in Hossim Aouar, I'd have been cool, right? Because you brought in your creative guy now, ARSSOU. We need you to leave, sidelined him, whatever. You didn't get Hossim Aouar, so you've got to stick with him until he goes, or you get an alternative in because there's no one else in the team that's creating nothing. I'm going to move on to my next one. Against Guendouzi.
Right in what they did. 100%.
It's not looking like it at the moment, is it?
See, again, this is a boy that came into the club, created a problem for Unai Emery and was disciplined. Mikel Arteta had just walked into the job. He created a problem whilst in Dubai. Mikel Arteta disciplined him, pulled him out of the squad for the Newcastle game. He then was involved in another incident and discipline. And Arsenal made their stance on it. Mikel Arteta made his stance on it. And then they opened the door for Guendouzi. Apologise. Remember what we said only 10, 15 minutes ago? I'm sorry. Apologise.
Yeah, well, it's all right for some, innit?
I'm sorry.
Some don't have to.
Robbie, listen, I'm sorry.
Some don't have to apologise.
I'm sorry, but the moment Arsenal make their stance, Mikel Arteta makes his stance of, and remember he's a kid.
Plus, we don't even know if he didn't apologise. We don't even know that.
We already know he hasn't apologised. You'll have to see some of the stuff that he says on social media.
We don't know that for sure. But what I'm saying is, right, also as a manager, you can be you can be strict, disciplined, but your job is also to manage these players.
Yes,
right?
and it was very evident.
It's a bit like me and you, yeah? There's been many occasions I've just felt like saying, yo, here's the door, bro, walk, right? But I managed the situation.
Yeah, because
you see, you've gone quiet now.
No, I was thinking of what
I was
thinking of what smart comment to make.
Answer that one.
I tell you why you don't tell me where the door is, because you know you won't get a new fucking kitchen if you kick me out of the door.
Well, you know what? Then maybe put the same on Arteta. Maybe he could have got a kitchen if he left Guendouzi in. Because when I'm looking at that midfield at the moment with like El Neni in there, you the other night go, come on, he can't even pass.
Yep, but
right? The stance
is made. The stance
has been too harsh.
The stance is made.
He's a young kid. He's 20.
The stance is made.
Listen, I didn't know you at 20. I didn't know you at 20. You must have been an absolute nightmare.
I was a really well-behaved boy.
Oh
at 20 years old.
I'm sure you were.
It's only since I've met you that I've become a bad influence.
You've got to, your job as a manager, you've got to manage these situations, manage these characters. Not everybody's the same. Somebody is, light-mannered, whatever. Somebody's like you. You've got to be able to manage everybody. No, but it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, be real. But listen, I'm saying Arsenal made their stance.
That's a great example.
Arsenal made their stance, and they said, we need an apology. We want an apology. He refused to. So Arsenal said, okay, if you're not going to give us an apology, then you won't be playing at the club.
It's all right for some players like, Xhaka never apologises.
But his was not.
Never apologises.
Listen.
Man walked off the pitch, flung down the shirt, told the fans.
Not under Mikel Arteta.
Told the fans to F off.
Not under Mikel Arteta.
Then Mikel Arteta come in and brought him back in the team.
Yeah, and
he's my guy.
And
which brings me on to the
and he was right in doing that, because you look at his performances when Mikel Arteta come in, right up to the start of this season. It was the right decision to make.
Which brings me on to my next one against him, which is that Xhaka. Right? And not just Xhaka.
And I've answered
persisting with these average players.
Right? I've answered it.
Bellerin, all these guys.
I've had this conversation, right? This is the thing.
No, wait a minute. Let me just...
No, because you said
these are his guys,
No, because...
These are his guys.
Right.
I'm keeping Xhaka, he says, right? He's my guy.
Can I talk?
I'm keeping
him.
Order. He could have went to her for Berlin.
Order of the court.
He could have went to her for Berlin.
Order of the court, Mr. Lyle.
You could have went to her for Berlin.
Any more outbursts, Mr. Lyle, you will be in contempt of court.
You know this so well.
Yeah, I do. So, right. Now, they're not his men in the sense that he brought them to the club.
He said it's my guy.
Any more outbursts, Mr. Lyle. Right? Now, they're not his players in that sense, okay? Now, when he came in, he had to take stock, have a look, see who was for and against, what he wanted, everything else. The performances of Bellerin and Granit Xhaka under Mikel Arteta We haven't got to there yet. We're going back to the beginning. It's like any story. It's like any case. You have to not miss out any part of it. So we're not going to miss that part out. For the first period of Mikel Arteta, right up to the end of the season, Bellerin and Granit Xhaka were playing good. They certainly weren't as poor as they are now. Granit Xhaka and Bellerin were influential in us winning the FA Cup. They were a part of that. Bellerin was doing things that I don't see him doing now. You only have to look at our second goal of the cup final and the way that Bellerin made that run right into the heart of the Chelsea, defensive area, flying into a tackle, and it breaks to, Ober and everything else. We don't see that from Bellerin now. But we started to see that from him last season, to the point we were going, maybe he's over his injury. Okay, maybe we can see something. Yes, there were still some question marks over his defending and getting caught out. In terms of Granit Xhaka, his discipline was better. He wasn't getting turned. He was doing the simple things. It wasn't dwelling on the ball too much. It was get the ball, release the ball. Get the ball, release the ball. He was doing the right things. You as well had even said that he was doing well under Mikel Arteta and he had changed. And it was the right thing. Then we go, hold on, Mr. Lyle. Now we go into this season and it's as though everything that was bad has come back all over again.
This is my argument about that, right? Yes, I did say at the time, he's really getting the best out of Xhaka. And Xhaka finished off the season well, and like you said, did the simple things well and that. But then when the summer come, why are we still holding on to this guy? Why is he long-term? Get rid of that guy then. Yeah, I mean, he did well for that little period, but we all knew we all know that he ain't what we want.
Because they looked.
He's been at the club now for how many years? Those are four coming up to 5 years. He ain't done nothing.
Because Mikel obviously looked
go
at it.
Go and get someone better. Hertha Berlin
He did go and get someone better in Thomas Partey. All right, yeah, but what I'm saying is that he had a
bomb out Guendouzi, keep this guy.
He had obviously looked at it and thought, age, experience, knowledge, all the rest of it.
Oh, that was great.
And the way
that at Burnley, the
will you listen? So all of that and the way he played would have been justification to say he can be a part of this squad and he can be a part of what we're doing. And it hasn't worked out because but is that Mikel's fault that the players let him down?
Yes.
No, it's not his fault that the players let him down.
You've got a player, right? You've got to assess things. You've got a player that's been letting this club down for nearly over 4 years.
And it looked like he had changed. It looked like he had changed the way that he was doing things. And you only have to go based on his performances, Robbie. That's the thing. He had changed the mindset of so many supporters. So many supporters.
As I said,
people that wanted...
He changed in the short term, but he ain't the answer.
No, but this is the thing. He changed so much in that period of time under Mikel Arteta, to the point where fans were even going, you know what? Yeah, I could take him as a squad member, actually. And he'd done enough to justify it. He could be here, the experience and all the rest of it. And nobody was moaning at the start of the season that he was going to stay on.
There were. There was a lot of people saying...
There were some people that...
he's playing better, but he's not good enough. Yeah, that was a lot of people saying
Not a lot of people. It's not... Twitter ain't the world. And the fact is that the tide of what people thought of him had completely changed in comparison to before Arteta came, where everyone, the majority, would have been like, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. So that's what I'm trying to say.
My argument is this, right? When you're doing an assessment of your squad, which you would have done when you come in, yeah? You can look at certain players, you can say, right, I'm going to try and get the best out of him. But at the first opportunity, someone's coming in, he's gone. Because I know long-term he's not good enough. Hertha Berlin wanted him.
Did they really want him?
Yeah,
did they really
wanted him. They were going to give £30 million.
Did the bid come in?
£25 million they were going to pay?
No, apparently 25, and then at the last minute they changed it and they wanted less. And Arsenal are not... I don't blame the club turning around and saying, no, you're not going to mug us off, because this is the problem.
Mug us off? They've been doing us a favour.
Listen, this is the problem that we do have now. This is the one issue that we do have, is that we've got so many players that everybody knows we're trying to get rid of, that as a club, if you're going to go and buy something from someone and you know they need to get rid of it, again, I'll reference it to a set of decks or something. You know that a guy... No, but Robbie, it's a similar thing. If you know Technics 1210s, right? The best decks on the market, we know how much they cost. you know somebody's in a bit of debt, needs to get rid of them, not doing DJ no more, and you're looking and going, hey, I'm not going to pay what he wants for them, though, because I know he needs to get rid of them.
True, but if I'm that
so
person...
I'm going to go in there and go a little bit lower.
Yeah, but if I'm the person who's got it and I need the money...
But it depends of the club as well.
If I need the money and I'm desperate to get something better, I'll sell it.
But it depends of the club as well. And they were not overly desperate to sell in the sense that...
What?
Yet there were certain players they were desperate to sell.
We're 15th.
No, whoa, you're not listening. There were certain players were desperate to sell because they were surplus to requirements completely, where we were never going to use them, like your Socrates and people like that. They were the players that were first on the list. We've got so many people on this list to get out of the door.
Socrates no worse than in his performances over the years he's been here than Xhaka.
But he obviously, he was obviously somebody that was surplus to requirement. And
final thing of my evidence that I'm gonna present is the style of play. Under Arsene Wenger, I knew how we played. I knew our style. I knew what we did. Under Mikel Arteta, I don't know what is our style of play. Can you please present that to me? What the style of play that Arsenal
trying to act like you're in court.
Could you please shed some light upon the style of play that Arsenal have right now?
You're such a plum. Seriously. It was very evident that what Mikel wanted to do when he came in was to sort the defence out. That was a major problem. Even under Arsene Wenger, we could be the Harlem Globetrotters, but we would still concede at the back all the time. I still remember going to the Palace and places like that and getting humiliated. And what he wanted to do first of all was sort the defence out. He did that to a sense, to the point where, again, you go to last season, this is where you start from and what he was trying to build, to the point we were seeing some exceptional performances from people that we never thought could put those kind of performances in. Do you remember Mustafi getting injured in the semi-final of the FA Cup and everyone was gutted? Because he changed the perception that much under Mikel that he could actually defend. And you remember he got injured and we were like, oh no, we need him for the final. You know what I mean? David Luiz's performance in that semi-final in comparison to the performance that he put in against Manchester City the game straight after lockdown. It was like chalk and cheese. There was one calamitous performance that we've seen from David Luiz so many times over his career. And then we saw a colossus performance where you're like, can we not get that every week? So that was his first, port of call. He then obviously wanted to try and steady it, do what he needed to do, and then try and adapt and implement his own style, but without the right personnel. And I feel that his biggest mistake right now is going away from the tried and trusted, which was the 3-4-3, and trying to implement his ideas and his way of thinking now with the wrong personnel.
Could you please tell me what the style of play is?
Could you please stop interrupting and let me speak? You'd be useless in court. You'd be in contempt.
No, I'm trying to.
You would genuinely be.
I'm trying to prompt you into
the one thing you don't do in court, is prompt people.
No, but we'd be here all day if otherwise listening to your rubbish.
Court cases go on for months.
What is his style of play?
Court cases go on for months, all right? So listen.
What was his style of play?
Relax yourself. Now, his biggest issue was going away from the 3-4-3 and trying to implement his own way with the wrong personnel. So what he now needs to do is go back to the 3-4-3, the tried and tested, and what everyone's used to, and he spent months doing to try and, structure everything and get the defence solidly. Against Southampton, he did go back to that. And I actually foresee now, for the December period at least, for him to try and go back to basics and get the structure in place to make us difficult to beat, and let's pick up some points and then try and look to bring players in January, creative players that can fit the side.
Nearly a year in the job. I think Everton away will be practically a year. Can you please...
Why are you trying to talk like that?
Because it's a court of law.
You're just such a div, man.
Can you please, I reiterate again.
Look at him trying to come up with them big words and flop. You see this? You see that? Man, what is it? Just talk normally, Robbie. There's no reiterating or nothing.
Could you please tell me what then his style of play is?
The style of play that we are used to is counter-attack under Mikel Arteta, because what I'm saying with the 3-4-3 is to sit deep and counter. Did it work? Yes, it did work. Name some of the teams that he beat playing in
So
that
our
style.
style of play is
At the moment, yeah. It is
defence.
defend and counter-attack. That is the style right now because needs must. Because that is the style, because
Well,
we
over
do
the
not
period of
have
this
the
year-
players.
Over the period of this year, that's been the style.
Over the sustained period, yes, it is.
And has that style worked?
It's not worked once he's reverted back and changed and adapted to a couple of little tweaks. What I say with that is that when we play at home against teams that play low blocks, you need to be able to adapt and accommodate to that because the 3-4-3 doesn't always work. But he hasn't got the personnel to open the doors.
Okay.
All right? Now, when we're playing against the better teams, shall we say, that 3-4-3 works perfectly. We've beaten Liverpool with that system, Chelsea with that system, Man City with that system, Manchester United with that system. Manchester United only a few weeks back with that system. Bear in mind as well. So
The last game we won.
So that's what I'm saying.
Couple of months ago.
That does work. So if you're looking at the sustained period of time, that would be our system. It's
Boring.
Was it
defensive
boring when we
football.
beat Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea and won the cup and Manchester United a few weeks ago?
No, I'm just
and
saying,
everyone was in it because remember as well, you keep tweeting me in this video, everybody, but that take your time with it. I wasn't actually in that video. That your time, I wasn't in none of that. So stop tweeting me the pissing video because I weren't in that. All right, that was everybody else. Stop tagging me. Yeah, you was in the background. Just like, yeah, do you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that that's what Mikel decided as an identity to get us through a period of time. We haven't, and it's very evident, we haven't got the players that can play, shall we say, that Liverpool, Man City type style football. And, you know, let's look at the comparisons here. And I hate having to do this. I honestly hate it. But we take Tottenham, for example. All right? Their style under Jose Mourinho is very similar. Sit, wait, counter. The difference is they've got the players that will take those 2-3 chances that they have in a game. Bar the Liverpool game, you know, Bergwijn doesn't hit the post. They go 2-1 ahead, small margins, certain things like that. But for the majority, they've been top of the league and doing what they're doing because they've been able to call upon players that can actually implement that plan and score the goals. This season, Son and Kane are what Aubameyang was to us last season. When we were able to sit, counter, break, create a chance, you knew 9 times out of 10, Aubameyang was going bang.
Still
goal,
finish
goal.
8th in the league.
We did.
The league.
We did because
cups, take cups out of it.
Yes, we did. But let's also remember he took over when he did. You know, Spurs, Mourinho took over at the
took
same,
over a similar time.
and there was only how many points between them?
What?
Between Spurs and
They
Arsenal.
finished in top 6.
But how many points were between us?
I'm not sure.
About 4 or 5. I think it was something along them lines. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it. So it wasn't a million miles ahead. But what I'm saying is since then, Mourinho has been able to complete his plan, continue with his plan, and not let anyone deviate himself away from that. What Mikel Arteta's biggest mistake has been is to deviate away from what was working, to try and be more expansive, to listen to the noise from the outside of we're not happy, we're not happy, we're not happy, and deviate away from it and try and use the wrong tools to do the job. And this is why I'm trying to say we haven't got the right players.
Is there any evidence you'd like to add for Mikel Arteta?
I would like to also add that the injury to Thomas Partey has probably been the worst thing that's happened to us because we bring in a player of that calibre who can bring so much to the team because, again, I will reference to the Manchester United game. Even though we played a 3-4-3 formation, we were not a team that was sat behind the ball for 90 minutes and only had 1 or 2 chances in that game. With Thomas Partey in there, we had an energy and a drive and a presence in the midfield that didn't make us look like a team that was just trying to play out a 1-0 win, get a draw. First half, Willian hits the bar, Saka has a clear header from just outside the 6-yard box. De Gea makes a great save. Could have easily been 2-3-0 in that first half. The presence of Thomas Partey was huge. You go to the Tottenham game. A 70-75% fit Thomas Partey in that first half was our best player by a country mile. People were talking about Højbjerg, is it? In the game for Spurs, not taking away what he can do. In that first half, Thomas Partey was rushing him out of the way. Get him away. That's a 70-75% fit Thomas Partey. Having him injured just as he's come in has been a massive blow to this team and Mikel Arteta.
Okay.
So
anything else
with
you'd like
him
to
in
add?
there, you know what I mean?
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, because I've made it very clear. The biggest mistake Mikel Arteta's made was reverting away, listening to other people from the outside maybe, too much noise from the outside and thinking, yeah, it's not acceptable. Because we know what Arsenal are built on and we want that amazing football and everything. But Mikel should have just stayed with his plan, which is stay where we are, get the players he wants in, and when you've got the right players in, you can then go and start to do the things that you want to do. Because then, if it doesn't work, it falls on you. They're your players. But I look at some of the good things, and people will say, okay, let's take a Willian that hasn't worked.
His player.
Yes, and I'll say that.
Cedric.
And I'll say that. But what I'm saying also is Thomas Partey.
Getting rid of Guendouzi.
Gabriel. I've already explained that. Justified. We're on about players in and out.
ARSSOU.
Right? We're talking about players in and out. I think that Pablo Mari looks a decent signing. From what I've seen, again, unfortunate. Gets an injury. That's not Mikel's fault that he picks up an injury.
Football managers, things you've got to cope
Listen,
with.
it happens, all right? But ironically, Mari's injury record and Thomas Partey injury record is superb. They come to Arsenal and they're out longer than they ever have been in their whole career. That's your luck right now. You can't foresee that. You cannot foresee that, Robbie.
Okay.
All right? So in that
I'm
respect, you know, our player of the season. Who's our player of the season this year?
Saka? I don't even know.
I
didn't think that. We ain't had a player of the season.
No, I would say
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Gabriel's been our player of the season so far.
Mikel Arteta signing.
Okay.
So what I would say is give him the chance to turn
Our
this
worst
around.
player of the season so far. Mikel Arteta signing, Willian. He's been one of the worst players.
I would say
he's done nothing in the games he's played.
No, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. But I'm saying there are ones to add to that list.
Okay, I wanna. The jury. I'm leaving. You guys are the jury, and I want you to judge in the comments.
Give him the opportunity. Give him the opportunity.
Should Arteta be
and let him get the
sacked,
players,
or do we give him time to get his players in to try and turn things around?
Because this is a never-ending cycle, Robbie. This is a never-ending cycle.
This can't continue.
I know it can't continue.
That never-ending cycle.
No,
We're
I know
15th.
I know it can't continue. I'm saying
15th, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying you bring another manager in.
Never-ending cycle.
You bring another manager. I'm on about managers. You bring another manager in now.
If it's
you
not
still
working,
have,
if it's not working,
but
you
Robbie,
bring someone else in.
You bring
might be
another
able to turn it
manager in.
around.
You bring another manager in. And you still got the same weak, spineless players that failed Arsene Wenger, failed Unai Emery, failed Freddie Ljungberg, and are now failing Mikel Arteta.
But then maybe you bring someone in who just gets the thing back on track, right, till the end of the season, then gets rid of all those guys, and then you can trust with a load of money to build his own team and to get rid of certain players.
But I trust him to build.
No,
it's not that easy.
He's hanged his hat on certain players that shouldn't even be here.
Yeah, but there's a lot that he couldn't get rid of.
There's other players that he'd come down harsh on.
But you couldn't get rid of a lot of them.
with right now.
There's a lot of them that he couldn't get rid of.
We leave it to the jury. You guys decide. Finally, Everton. Can we win that game?
Yeah.
You confident we can go there and do
something? Our record at Goodison's actually really good.
You don't look confident when you say that.
I'm saying you a fact. Our record at Goodison is actually really good. I believe that we've scored more Premier League goals against Everton than any other team in the Premier League.
Our record against Burnley was impeccable.
Records that they were meant to be broken. No one thought West Brom would go to Man City and get a draw.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This league does throw up the most random stuff.
What do you predict for that game then?
Oh, it's going to be tough. It will be a tough game.
Energy's gone.
No, I'm just thinking. We're not going to keep a clean sheet. We never do. But I do think we're going to go to the 3-4-3. I'll go 2-1.
Iwobi.
We'll go 2-1.
Walcott the other night, Iwobi. Who else we got? Then we got Giroud, Chelsea.
Let me have a look.
Welbeck coming out of Brighton. Bloody hell.
Mate, you say that like that.
All of a sudden, Walcott turned into.
You know what? That was an interesting stat that I see on social media yesterday. Mikel Arteta has the exact same record after 50 Arsenal games as Herbert Chapman did in his first 50 games. Won 27, drawn 10, lost 13. Just saying. Just saying. It's not my stat.
You love the stats when they suit you, innit?
I only see it. It's
Herbert Chapman.
One of our greatest, if not the greatest. The man with a statue.
We have to go all the way back to the 30s.
I'm just saying.
To try and find something to hang out on. The 30s.
I'm just saying. And you know something that I said to you yesterday as well.
Oh my God.
Something that I said to you yesterday as well.
How were you fallen?
I had a Manchester United fan message me yesterday, and he was saying to me about you need to stick with Mikel Arteta and
Oh
ride
yeah, he
this
will
out.
say that.
No, because
He's laughing at the moment, isn't he?
No, because they're a club that know exactly about sticking by their manager, because for the first 3 years under Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United were all over the place, to the point where, and I think it was a well publicised thing now, where Mark Robins scored in the FA Cup game, I think it was, that actually saved him his job, to the point where Manchester United fans were pulling out banners on Sir Alex, we all know about that, right, where they were actually pulling out banners and saying 3 years, no change, disgrace, Tara Fergie and all the rest of it, to the point where the board still backed him, never let the outside pressure waver them, and they backed him. And then something flicked, like that switch, something triggered it, and that moment was that Mark Robins goal, the FA Cup and everything else. So all you need is something to just flick a switch to trigger it, and things could change. Might not, but I'm saying, I'm giving you some comparisons, and it's, you know.
Really have turned into Ty.
I'm not. There's nothing about it at all. I was trying to look at the...
Guys, thank you for listening and watching the podcast today. The link is in the description for Profit Accumulator. Make sure you check them out. And don't forget, you can download this podcast on all the normal formats. And remember, I want you are the jury. Keep the faith, or is it time to make a change before January? Let us know in the comments whilst he's still trying to find this stat. What is it?
I'm trying to just look at our recent record against Everton.
I've got a stat for you. We're 15th.
I understand that. Hold on, I've got something.
We're
here.
15th.
Right, wait there.
That's my stat. That's my simple
right,
stat.
So
we are 15th.
Of our last four Premier League games at Everton since 2016, so we're going right back to Wenger. We have won 2, drawn 1, lost 1.
Okay.
Our last 4 visits to Goodison. So what I was saying is that our visits to Goodison haven't actually been that bad. It's not like when we went to Old Trafford, for example, and we could definitively go, our record is horrendous here, we've got no chance. What I'm saying is, if there's one little comfort that fans can maybe hold on to try and maybe look at it and say, let's have a little bit of positivity going into it, is that our record at Goodison hasn't been that bad.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching the podcast. Me and Ty will be back next week. Would you like to earn yourself some extra money this Christmas? Maybe you want to buy a gift for your friend, for your family. Maybe you want to donate some money to charity. Well, why don't you check out Profit Accumulator? With the help of Profit Accumulator, you can learn an easy way to earn some extra money by using a thing called match betting. Match betting is a safe and risk-free way to make money from free bets and promotional offers given out by bookmakers. And when done correctly, you can't lose. So to find out more and to sign up, check the link in the description and get involved right now with Profit Accumulator.